Good morning, Mr. Gunraj. Can you give us an update on the election day activities so far?
All right, good morning. As you know, polls have been opened just over 2 hours ago. From all reports received, most of the polling stations were opened on time, the majority of them. There were very few hiccups, which I can count on my hand of reports that I've received of polling stations not opening on time. I believe that the late opening, though unacceptable, has been justified because proper reasons have been given why there was late opening. Other than that, everywhere that I've been, reports of smooth processes. Of course, early morning voting, you have a few teething errors, but those are by and large insurmountable. It's a slow process, people getting involved in the process and getting acquainted with the process, but after that things have been flowing very, very freely and properly as far as I'm aware.
Okay, and can you tell us, you mentioned a few hiccups and late openings. What is the feedback from the hinterland regions?
I haven't received much feedback from the hinterland regions. As you know, in some places it's somewhat difficult to get information out, but as far as phone signal permits and so on, we haven't received any adverse reports.
Can you speak about, I know it's still early in the day, but turnout so far?
In fact, this station that we're at, New Camerville Secondary, one polling agent, one presiding officer, I just spoke to, reported that in excess of 100 people have already voted at our station, and it's only 8 o'clock. The fact that over 100 persons have voted, and it's only 8 o'clock, says several things to me. One, I'm happy that the system is able to process 100 people in under 2 hours. It tells that people are interested in the process and have heeded the call to exercise their civic duty. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Other places, most places I've gone to, I've seen a line. The line doesn't necessarily mean the process is moving slowly, but it means that people are there, and there's some. I myself have voted already, and the process was probably less time it takes than ordering a cup of coffee. So yes, it's moving pretty well.
And what would be your message to voters at this point in time, those who haven't head to the polls as yet?
People have lost their lives to ensure that we have a right to vote today. And in that vein, my simple request would be for people to come out, exercise their civic duty, vote, and go back home. It's a public holiday.
Can you speak to a concern raised by at least one of the political parties contesting the elections regarding police officers and their cameras? Are you able to using cameras at the polling stations and places?
So this issue of the use of cameras in the polling station is a hotly debated topic. As you know, the prohibition is not for use of cell phones or cameras in the polling stations. In an effort to maintain the secrecy of the ballot, prohibition is against the use of cameras or cell phones in the voting compartment. So in terms of the use of police and I think the issue is the body cameras. That is standard police protocol, and I don't believe it breaches the secrecy of the polling station. But of course, that is not a decision, or those are my personal views, and that's not a decision that I can make on my own.
As voters continue to file in to polling places and stations across the country, what can you help provide some tips or so for them to ensure that it's a smooth process?
So the standard protocol is to produce your identification card, your national identification card. But you also know that in the absence of the national identification card, a valid passport a valid driver's license are also acceptable forms of identification. But in the absence of any of that, a person will still be allowed to vote as long as their name is on that list of electors at that polling station. So that is important. And we've seen for the most part that is happening all day.
Is there any special arrangements or that GECOM maybe took into consideration for elderly persons? We've seen in at least one instance just at Pleasance. One person wasn't feeling well, and there are several elderly persons who are turning up early to the polling stations and have to be in the lines. Are there any special provisions?
Generally, outside of elections day, as humans, we try to give priority to certain classes of people. Elderly persons, the differently able, pregnant persons, pregnant women, etc. So I expect no less facilities or no less courtesies to be extended to those persons. I don't believe that is something that GECOM has to specify specifically, because common courtesy at the polling station should allow those things to happen naturally.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Gunraj.
Welcome. Have a good day.
You too.